Welcome in everyone to the Challenge After Show tonight. Screw the challenge. We're welcoming back Jenna. She's here to be a part of the show. We are so excited to have her back.
Yay, Jenna!
But we'll also sprinkle in a little challenge stuff. Episode 14, Battle for a New Champion. Don't let TJ decide the literal episode title. Season 39.
TJ. It's always TJ deciding.
TJ.
I will say, but for what the challenge has been this season, that was kind of fun. What happened? I didn't get all of the payouts that Jenna always talks about. What do we call them? It's
Setup and payoffs.
The payoffs.
Yeah.
We didn't get all the payoffs. We got some fun little things. Obviously, I wanted CT to call out, Jay, but he had a good reason for not. So that's okay too, I guess. But,
I like this episode. And also, I'll be completely honest, I have not watched a single episode since I had my son. So I binged them all in like the last 3 days. So I watched all of them. And I must say, I think my favorite moment was when Cara came back, because it was so entertaining. Like, she really just added this spark to the game, whether or not it was like valid that she called down Michelle, because I have mixed feelings on that. Because what was Michelle gonna actually do? Say somebody's name? She would look like such a little like scaredy cat. She would look kind of, I don't know, pathetic for doing that. So I thought that was funny of Cara to like ask her to name someone and throw somebody under the bus to prove she had balls. I was like, actually,
she wasn't saying to pick them though.
Oh, she wasn't saying pick. I mean, it made her. I thought it was gonna make Michelle kind of look like a dick.
Like,
oh, okay, pick Mariah. Like, but anyway, the fact that she did that, and she's like, okay, it's gonna be you, Orange Sir. Like, regardless, I loved it, and it was so entertaining. Like, we needed that. So I was like wide-eyed and smiling while watching.
Jenna, we said the exact same thing, and like, even if the conspiracy is the producers told her, hey, look, Laurel had an issue with Michelle on the last episode, so you should pick Michelle to make more drama for our show. Even if that's the case, it was still super entertaining. And I was telling Pam, like, all these challengers that I never liked before, I am wishing that they would come back. I will take Pauly and Cara Maria making out every episode over some of the challengers we're seeing nowadays. I cannot stand Jay and Michelle running the house. I think it's awful TV. Pamela, okay. Go ahead.
My takeaways, and then we can dive right in, is so Jenna, first of all, welcome back. It's so great to see you. And I know everybody else is going to be
everyone else is going to say it too, Pam, because they've been telling us, can you please bring in another host? Please bring in another host, because we can't stand your two opinions. Like, they wrote that. They said, if Jenna's not going to come back, bring in someone else. I was like, okay, whatever. So what? Who cares?
Me and Dan have been on the same page. Jenna, I suspect you might have been on the same page too.
Probably would have been,
We give them what they want. Jenna's back, you guys. Yeah. Jenna's back. So, and I will say, these are my total flip-flops, and then we can get into it. My flip-flops. Well, I don't know, but this is
that a new segment?
This is sure consistent.
I got a new segment for you too, Jenna. We'll talk about it.
Stayed the same, totally changed my mind. And what's the other part of that? Change my mind, stayed the same.
Neutral? You stayed the same? Oh, that's the same. That's
like
the same.
Them less now? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, so this is I'll just say it. So okay. Ed, I love consistently. Ed for days.
You're obsessed with
I have finally come around to officially saying, I was like, oh, I think I like the old them. Oh, I don't like them this season. Oh, I don't know. I think this episode tipped me right on off the edge of like officially declaring that I don't like Jay and Michelle. Where I was like, I like them. I think
she's finally all the way on my side, Jenna. She's been trying to hang on to this. I've been telling every episode how bad it is. Go on. Sorry, Pam.
I haven't. No, I'm with you. I've been holding on. I'm like, maybe it's just the memories. I liked Jay so much at first that I'm not willing to just write him off yet. And Michelle, I'm like, I liked her as a person. And now everything they've said, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like Michelle being like, well, I'm not going to bat up for Horacio anymore if it's going to fall on deaf ears. It's like, what are you talking about? So some of these, I'm like, the mental gymnastics. And I think I appreciated messy, scared Michelle, but like confident Michelle is just obnoxious. It's like,
yeah, I think what's happening for Jay and Michelle is that they feel like they've been in the power seat for so long that I think that they feel so entitled to it. Like, they feel like everyone in the game owes them something, and that their queen and king, right? Like Michelle even said something, I can't remember if it was this episode or a previous one, because again, I binged them all in like 2 days, where she said like all the little worker bees are working for the queen bee.
Right.
And then she says something like, Jay is our number one. Jay is our number one guy. Like, it's just, it might not work for everybody that way. You know, like now they're getting all rattled because the game isn't at the point now where people have to start making moves regardless of like what their alliances are. For example, Kyland had to say his best friend and his number one ally in the game and just had to say it and took that on the chin. But now that Jay didn't even have to go in there.
Oh, that was like,
The fact
sorry,
that like
Jenna.
it was even possible had him felt like he was so disrespected. It was over the top, his reaction.
Yes, and you totally reminded me, thank you, of my other. So Ed, always loved. Michelle and Jay, boo. Rising up in my life on the scales is Kyland. For that exact reason, it was like, look, Kyland, I started off the season being like, I don't love him. I think he's a little odd and annoying. And now I'm like, you go, Kyland. He is exactly right, too. It's like, this has to happen. We have to shake the house up. This is smart for the move he made was like, this is my only male friend in alliance, but we need to shake this shit up. And it worked. And
Pamela, you are fully on my side finally, because for weeks now I'm saying Kyland and Horacio are like the best parts of this season right now because they're the underdogs. Jay and Michelle, I don't know how they didn't notice this, but for weeks now, people have been saying like, why am I still working with this team? And they're all moving away from them. It's just been happening and happening. It's been a slow burn on that, but it's all happening. And finally it came to a head tonight. Jay and Michelle realized, oh crap, all we have is each other now. Like even like Nerys, I mean, maybe Olivia's going the other way too. They're all leaving this team. Like, why are we listening to Jay and Michelle? Why are we letting them run this damn house? Thank you. It's all happening now. It's good.
Oh, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Johnny Bananas, right? Like he gathers his people at the beginning of a game and they stay loyal to each other until a certain point. But when other people start to go down paths that are better for their personal game, he gets so over the top offended by it, where it's like, all right, well, you're going to have to make a move for yourself too. And you will make that move. So if somebody else has to go a different direction, they just have to do that. Like you got to a certain point. That's what the best part about having a lot of numbers. You know, they went into the game with a lot of numbers just by almost default because there was a lot of UK people and US people. So they had this like giant US alliance, like plus Emmanuel.
Colleen,
Berna. Colleen.
Plus kind of Berna. Yeah, exactly. So Jay has had his hand in the pot of like every single corner of this house. Like it's just gonna blow up eventually. And it hasn't even blown up that bad yet. It's just starting and like he can't handle that.
I can't wait till we get to let's diss Jay section when we talk about, because what a little, it was just like almost a montage of Jay being such a little bitch.
Right. And we interviewed him. We interviewed him a couple years ago on this show, and he told us how much of a big fan he is of the challenge in general. And we all just chatted like we were all fanboys and fangirls all talking because he really did have a lot of knowledge from the show because he was a fan before he went on it. And like, despite all that, I'm sorry, I want to like him, but I cannot. Especially even like last episode too, when he was like trying to act. Here's the thing too, he's acting all tough. Like he can actually, at the end of this episode, he says he's coming for Kyland and Horacio, like tough Jay. I'm like, Jay, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I cannot buy into your skinny ass saying you're going to come for Kyland and Horacio. Like, it's just not going to happen. I don't care. There's no way Jay, if Horacio, Kyland, and him all make it to the finals, there's no way Jay wins this thing. He's just not going to. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's as close to impossible as I can say, because you never say never, Justin Bieber. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, he's I don't know. It's really obnoxious. And I also really hate, well, I'll save this until we get into that.
Well, all right. So let's break down a couple things. Jenna, you asked for our new segments since you were last here. And there is a new segment. And it's actually going to be our final segment of the season for this. And it's Assaf's not funny moment of the night. I've been discussing how they've tried to make this guy the comic relief this season, and it's just not working. And I wrote down multiple instances tonight about how for one final time or three final times, he just was not funny. Pamela, do you have one you'd like to share?
I would like to title the segment Assaf Fails.
That's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. It's just
I
it's not a
know.
funny
I
moment.
want to have one little tiny counterpoint is that I have not had that feeling towards him this season. I actually
Wow.
find him,
Okay.
like adorable and endearing, and I actually find him funny. Maybe it's kind of like the Turbo effect of the language barrier when Turbo didn't turn bad, evil Turbo.
Evil Turbo.
But Turbo wasn't trying to be like, like I'm
That's
a funny
true.
guy.
That's true.
Waka waka
Okay.
waka.
Okay.
He
No,
thinks
I
he's
appreciate
Fozzie
what you
the
guys are
Bear,
saying.
Assaf. Yeah, he
Yeah.
thinks he's Fozzie the Bear in his confessionals. He's like,
Okay, so Jenna, I'll just bring up the one that I thought was the most unfunny from him tonight. Him trying to do saying that he was running an orchestra during the daily challenge. I was like, this is not funny, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, are you sure that he means it though? Because to me, I'm like, oh God, like he's trying to use a word that he might not
No,
know.
I think he's
the
thinking.
word.
I think he's trying to be funny there. I do personally. People in the
Okay.
comments tell us what you think, but I'm telling you right now, I think he's trying 100% to be funny. Where when Turbo brings up the crazy chicken thing,
pussy.
chicken pussy,
Chicken.
I don't think he's trying. I think he's just saying this guy's
That's
chicken pussy,
funny.
and that's funny.
That's why it's funny. No, Assaf fail was he wants to be like Bananas or Wes, who do amazing commentary and say things
Right.
like, I look at myself like a conductor, and the editors would be like, do in the back. Assaf's like imagining he's that, and it's like, A, you're not the conductor of anybody, so shut up. And B, you don't request that they put classic music in the back while you discuss that you're it's just too self-aware and not funny, and a big miss for me on all levels.
But Jenna, that's my point though, Jenna. If Jenna, if you thought that was funny, more power to you. I'm just wondering, was that funny to you?
To be honest, I don't even remember that exact line.
Okay,
Remember
well,
that
there you
exact
go.
moment, but I appreciate the segment. I think that's
The whole
funny. You
moment.
guys picked up on that. I just didn't notice it,
Did you guys notice, or did you ladies notice that for the daily challenge, for the last 3 or 4 weeks now, James and Mariah are always on the same team? They were on the same team again tonight. I don't understand how they're always pulling this off, because at the beginning of the episode, James is like, says Mariah has saved his ass all season. And it's true for politicking for sure, because the kid doesn't do any of it. He doesn't believe in it, supposedly, which I don't necessarily mind.
Anything.
I don't care. Like, James is James. Like, if he wants it, whatever, I don't care. But he doesn't even try. Like, it's so weird. But he is up Mariah's ass up and to the left of it, and that's fine too, because it's working out for him. But like, they've been on the same team the last 4 group challenges. I don't get it.
I don't know if it's a conspiracy or what. Potentially, maybe they're trying. I don't really know what the thing is, but I have to say, kudos again, and I felt this way last week, to the team breakdowns. They're really good on who is to work with who, I think.
I wish we knew a little bit more
Horacio and
how that
Assaf,
got broken down, though, Pam. I wish we knew how they did make. Oh, wait, they're gonna be chosen at random. I want them to do like, let it be like schoolyard rules. Let them actually choose captains, then have them pick. So there'll be more strategy based behind it, because you're gonna want to have certain people on your team and not. I just kind of like the idea of, like, there could be consequences to picking certain people, because then you might want to try to sabotage, or if you win, then you're guaranteed you can put in people that aren't in your alliance. I wish there was more opportunity there.
I don't know. I like the way it's broken down. I believe that it's constructed by TJ. We'll just say TJ is picking the team.
Okay, producers constructed.
We'll call
Okay.
him TJ, but it is very well constructed. I feel like there's a mix of people that wouldn't have each other's backs, etc. So it becomes more interesting.
All right.
I agree. They're doing a good job of mixing the teams enough that people aren't, the alliances are all over the place within the team. But I did notice that too, Dan, that James and Mariah have been together like the last 4 episodes. And at first I wasn't sure how I was feeling about all of these games being team based, but what else? I mean, unless they were all solo, maybe that would be too hard to pull off like episode after episode, but it's going really well. Like, it's fun. I'm enjoying all the team games. And at first I noticed that Mariah and James were always standing next to each other. So I don't know if they were just like, okay, 4, 4, 4, 4, done.
He did that one time. You're right, Jenna. One time TJ just said that, but like, I'm wondering, like, did producers line them up ahead of time in that order that it made it look like TJ just said that? I don't know.
They totally must have. So it's almost like maybe a little unfair that they're working together, but their team never wins, so it's okay.
Well, they won tonight, though. They won tonight. James and Mariah won tonight.
Oh,
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, because they also had Kyland and Michelle.
Yeah, okay.
But that was...
Yes.
There's a good conflict in each team.
I'm forgetting.
Which I like. Yeah.
I thought
Jay,
Jay
pulled it out
this
at
is
the
what
end.
happened.
Jenna,
Jay
that's
thought
why.
he won. Remember?
Totally. You're right.
That
But
was
they
the very
they were
last.
off by a centimeter or something, and then
Right.
and then it ended up being Kyland winning.
And if it was a real final, not a mini final, we would have been really mad that this team that was consistently winning just didn't win at the end because of a freaking puzzle. So that is something, with how we like them to
Yeah.
keep track of.
True, but the game
Or-
is the game, and whatever happens, happens,
Sometimes, but sometimes they do keep track, and in the lead for this day is this or whatever. And I don't know.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell Jay and Ed did with that lock. They didn't even look at the squares. They mental math this shit.
Oh,
and I was like, I don't know
what.
what.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, but I don't know how they did it, Jenna.
It was amazing,
really
right? I
awesome.
couldn't even figure out their cheat hack. Like their
Amazing
cheat
strategy.
I was like, it didn't make any sense to me either, Dan. It's like, oh, well, it's got to be divisible by 4, so put a 9 and then just times 20 by 9.
I mean, this should be another reason why you're obsessed with Ed. This dude is like
Oh,
a
it is.
math genius. I don't know what
he
he's
would have beat
doing.
Steve. I think my thing is
I'm
Ed's the only one.
honestly jealous, though. I'm jealous that he can do something like that. Like, I'm like, this is why I could never be an engineer. This is why I might not be as successful in my job. Like, how do you know how to do that crap? It blows my mind.
Is
it was really
end.
like an amazing example of having a kind of a backup plan. Like he was able to just pivot. Like, okay, counting all these squares is not working because there's squares within squares. I always think that game is comical to watch them do. Like, do you remember when didn't Corey and Nicole have to do it together at one point?
They had to do something.
Like Anissa, Corey, and someone, and it was just like
it was Corey and Nicole, like the brain.
Corey and Nicole were making triangles out of like every non-triangle shape that ever could exist. Like they were making taking an octagon and being like, "There's a triangle," just trying to make up these things. So I love that puzzle. But it's just amazing how he was able to say, you know what, we don't have to do this the hard way. Just let's start by 10 times, what do they say? 10 times 30. And then we'll just add 39
or something each time.
Add 39 to each because 39. You have to,
I don't know. That's what I wrote. Go ahead. I don't even
39.
understand the cheat that's supposed to be dumbed down for like, oh, okay.
I think I understand. And it's just adding 59, right? I think that's what they did. And they skipped everybody. You didn't even have to do it the hard way. From last to first. It was awesome.
No, I would have been driven absolutely nuts. Those puzzles drive me nuts too, because that's like, well, are we counting right? The triangles here, like I don't know. And then to add math on top of that, like I couldn't even count the squares.
Well, that's what happened to poor Horacio's team. They were in first the entire time, which that team was built for endurance. Like
yes, it was.
Yeah. So they had a stacked team for what the challenge looked like it was going to be. And then you throw in like the puzzle and the math and they were fucked and they ended up.
So like, honestly, all they had to do was count every square, multiply it by 39, correct? And then whatever that answer was the code, correct?
But no one even could figure out the basics. So the first part, if I'm correct, no one even got that right. The reason why the Jay and Ed team won with their hack is like, let's just do every number until we hit it. We're literally just.
No, I get what they did. Yeah.
But if you,
I assume they started with 10,
I think 10 squares.
They just put in,
pretended it was 10 and then multiplied that by 39 and you get 390.
It would be
90.
Yeah, there's my math. Good. And then they added what, 39 every time to that? Maybe is that how they did it?
I don't know. It's like
I think so.
Now we can get in the car. I'm like, oh, you kids don't know. I need to make you guys don't know how good you have it from those days. When I knew such a guess.
I'm good at long multiplication, like with the it was 39 times 11. Like I know how to do that out properly, but if you're one square off, you're never going to get it. So like, that's probably what happened with Horacio. They might've been one over, one under, and they never got exactly right. And there's only so much you can do.
Well, I think it comes down to specifics too. Like I saw Horacio go like this, and wouldn't that be a rectangle, not a square?
That's what someone was like, that's a rectangle. And he's like,
but wait, isn't there something where like all squares are rectangle, but not all rectangles are squares? There's something like with that. So if they were just wanting squares, are all rectangles squares? So you can count rectangles as squares.
Fuck if I know.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'll look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's something like that though, where
fuck if I know times 2 equals me. Yeah.
We went to school in New Jersey, so
yeah, seriously, I don't.
Our education system
and I can't blame New Jersey. I am like, there are those people that are, you know,
No,
now
there's incredible
everybody has a thing. I'm like, it's
Okay,
called
so-
numerical dyslexia, and I think I have it too. It's like I don't
So-
and directions. I'm like,
You're like, turn left, Pam makes a hard right.
no, it's like literally, it's like you've got two choices. You've done it 92 times.
Yeah,
What do you
there's
think? And I'm like,
no, or sometimes three.
feeling
You could go
right?
straight. You could go straight. So there's
No,
three.
no, it's things that routes I've driven like to a good friend's house. Like, and it's just like, now we're leaving my driveway.
Oh no.
That way, you have done it 98 times in the past year. Which
Wait,
way? And I'm like,
I'm
I
back
feel
at my house.
right. I'm like, I feel like it's a left, and it's like, so next time. I'll get them next
Damn
time.
it, Pam.
Yeah,
Next time, Pam.
I'm like, it feels right. So now I go, it feels like it should be a left. Go right. Like now I have to play the
Yes.
game of like, my intuition is wrong. Do the
You
other
know yourself. You're self-aware.
I do. It's so nice to have like directions now on your phone, because I spent so much time in LA on freeways being like, I don't know, I'm just checking out the city, looking at things and seeing it. I don't know. Lots
That's
of
how I am in the Valley of California, where all of it's like a big, massive grid. I'm like, I don't know exactly where I am. I'm just gonna kind of assume I got to go south towards the mountains to
But
get
you don't have to know anymore. Now you can just
right.
ask your phone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
unless we're in a horror movie.
No, I just did a photography gig like a couple weekends ago in the middle of nowhere, and I lost service. And but it was like up in this really random little, and I was like in a neighborhood. I was like, how the hell am I going to get out of here without having directions? And I was able to diagnose it, but like I made a couple wrong turns and had to figure it out just to get out of that place I'd never been before.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways.
Well, I was with an 8-year-old and 11-year-old at dinner the other night, and check came, and I like busted out my phone, and they're like, you can't figure out the tip. And I was like, no, I figured out the tip because I learned that it's twice the tax, but now I have to add that. And they're like, well, we can do it. And I was like, fine.
The 11-year-old?
And an 8-year-old. They
That's
both were
really impressive. I thought
they're like actually very smart, like probably the way Ed was when he was 8 or 11. But
Right.
honestly, they're very inclined numerically. Like, fun for them is like number games in the car, like give me multiplication. Yeah, I'm
good
like,
for them.
yeah, they're smart children.
They
So
are.
what else happened
Sure.
this episode?
What else happened is, well, they win, and then we talked about earlier, Kyland has to put in Horacio, but I mean, like, he was already going to be down 3-1. Like, the voting was all against him anyways, so it kind of was like. Plus, I think he realized, like, too, like, well, if Horacio goes home today, that, I mean, he is my best buddy in the game, but he's going to be a pain in the ass in a final. It was kind of a win-win for Kyland, honestly.
Which is also a mature grown up. Like, I feel like that is a mature, my initial thought was, what the fuck, Kyland, for sure. But then I was like, you know what? Horacio's a big boy too in that mature way.
They were both mature about it.
Right. You were the pick. There was nothing I could do. And part two, you're right. It is. It's like, it's going to get down to it, even though you have his back and he's your man. Only one of you is going to win.
Like,
so sorry.
Okay, how about this though? Like, everybody like is crying what happened with Assaf tonight, right? They're all crying. Does everyone not realize only one person can win this game no matter what? What the hell are we doing? Why is everyone so goddamn emotional? And then what I like what Kyland said, Kyland's like, maybe he was working with everybody since everyone's so damn upset. I'm glad he's going home. Kyland and Horacio are my favorites this season from the guys' perspective, because they get this game. It's a freaking game. Like, sorry, go on.
But Ed too. I would love Ed too.
Jenna, Pamela cannot. She has to bring up Ed at least like 3 times an episode.
Wait,
or doesn't.
I love that this was happening, because I thought about that as I was binging. I was like, oh my God, I'm cracking up thinking about how Pam like just loves Ed. I wonder if that still stands. Still stands.
But also, wait, you guys will love Ed
like
too.
There's nothing that you can. He's such great character, but at the same time, sometimes to me, he is just like so. I don't know. His confessionals just seem so like zany sometimes, where I'm like, Ed, down a notch, Ed.
Then he's really strong and smart. I liked him because he tonight, unlike Stupid Jay, which we'll get to later, was like, I like the way, I'm going to take a page out of Horacio's book and take it on the chin. If I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in. Like, it's a sport. You can't throwing temper tantrums when you have to go in is maybe one of my biggest pet peeves in the challenge, and makes people look the lamest. Like, Bananas did it in the champ season when he was crying like an Italian widow.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
playing some music and he's like, how could you do it to me? You know, it's like bananas. You're the pick. Suck it up. It's so
And
uncool.
that's why all of us are being led down the road of not liking Jay, because he's just crying and
He
like
really is. Yeah.
throwing a hissy fit. It's like your game is just, you can't control everybody forever.
All the time. Like eventually
Yeah.
something's gonna happen and we'll save all our Jay talk. But again, it would no one even it's like if you're not with me, you're against me. Again, it's like you
Yes.
people's moods.
Everyone's really like way too sensitive and self-centered in this game in the seasons as of late. Like it's just like, oh my God, like you like how we said in that one USA season, like you can get a +1. You can have a one person that you're always going to have their back and always try to keep their name out of the elimination. But after that, you can't have 7. Like you can't have, I want my ex-fiance and my best friend and my friend from that season and the person I won that elimination with 2 seasons ago.
It's like girls from my season.
It sounds like she's talking about Tori right now, isn't she, Pam? Without saying the name.
Michelle, and
it's across
little
the board.
Michelle in. It's like, and Berna. Like, and Berna's a #1 too. Like, you can't have everybody.
Yeah. Berna was kind of playing that one episode she won where she was like, we cannot say Colleen, but we cannot say Michelle. And and it's like, all right, well, we have to say somebody.
But I don't know how Jay and Michelle got such extreme control of everybody this season. But
well, it's clearly worn. It's clearly starting to wear off a lot. So that's why I'm so pumped for the rest of the season now, because it's going the other way. Finally.
Yeah, and listen, so even though it seems like they are the 2 people who are mainly in control, let's also remember it's just been the same people that keep getting thrown under the bus, like Raven in episode after episode. So really, like Horacio hasn't seen an elimination yet, so it's kind of like, even though I'm on his side in this, it's like, okay, but your time was kind of expiring too. Like you haven't really done anything. Like you're a great competitor, and it's probably because people were threatened by you that they didn't want to put you in elimination. So that's good on you. That's definitely a strength. But at the same time, you haven't seen an elimination.
But he's been put, but Jenna, that's not his fault.
He's been
he's been put down there twice. It just didn't work out that way because that's the rules.
That's true. Sorry. Again, I binge these all in one day.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's that part of the game where time's kind of like expiring on certain people. Like Nerys hasn't seen an elimination, right? Like she hasn't even been named to go down there, has she?
I don't believe so.
Olivia, Nerys, Moira, none of them.
It's not just Jay and Michelle.
Moira.
So sorry. My overall point is it's not just Jay and Michelle who are like eluding elimination. It's like that whole posse is Mariah, Olivia, Nerys. None of them have seen the arena floor. But it seems like Jay and Michelle are more of like the in control people. However, a lot of people have benefited from this alliance. So it's not just them.
Absolutely. You're right. But yes. So at least now we're getting to the point of clarity where even if you want to shield everyone, Jay and Michelle, you can't control who then they, like if they're not if they're not going to say your name, you can't also control whose name they say. Right. You can't control like 2 levels deep of every person that you know, essentially. Because now I was like, I don't even understand the squares game where Olivia and Nerys, like, why are they in trouble? Because they don't also want to go against, like they are saying we're not going to go against Jay or Assaf, who again, what's their loyalty to him other than Jay? But now they're also not allowed to not want to pick Horacio and Kyland. It's like, there's other guys. You can't just say, you can't pick me, you can't pick my #1. You have to pick these 2 or you're against me. It's like too many levels deep of being in a loose alliance.
Well, the weird thing about Assaf is supposedly nobody knows he's working with Jay except for Michelle and Nerys because they're the Fantastic Four, whatever. Supposedly no one else knows. So, I mean, Assaf throughout this season, the only reason he went down is because CT called him out. Like he looked like he was gonna go all the way to the final, just being safe, being Jay's counterpoint. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, because I guess
I do want
to in Deliberation was email. Oh, sorry, were we talking about something before elimination or Deliberation? Is it comes down to Emmanuel and Ed. I guess you know how it works out in the house is that they always find like the 2 names and people. You get a group of people who are going to root for one and a group of people who are going to vote for the other. So do you guys remember, because I feel a little bit unclear, why did Nerys and Olivia say Emmanuel versus Ed?
Olivia said Emmanuel because he said her name once. And Nerys said it because that's who Horacio and Kyland wanted. So that's
Okay,
fair.
okay. So that's why Jay is feeling betrayed then. So I guess it
Yeah.
makes sense because Jay is in this Fantastic Four, like supposed to be lock solid alliance with Nerys. So I get that. But
But
yeah,
what does that
but she said
matter?
Kyland,
How
she's
is
like,
picking Emmanuel over? Why does Jay care if it's Emmanuel or Ed? Like they're both
because
the
it makes it
extension
because it
choices.
makes it a stalemate and therefore it makes Jay vulnerable. It's just like a lot of layers, you know, so that's why I'm still not on Jay's side in it, because it's like a lot of steps to even get to you, Jay. Like they didn't outright throw you under the bus or like say your name. It's
Not
still
even at all close.
Wasn't Kylan the only one that said his name? Did Kylan say his name? Because I know Kylan,
No,
Jay had
Ed.
one vote eventually, right? It was Kylan or no? I forget.
no, Ed said it.
Ed,
Okay, I'm gonna say
said
you,
it.
Jay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good,
it was
good.
going to be a stalemate. This is again.
Well, that's because Ed, well, you love Ed so
Ed
much.
wanted it. He's like, I
Well,
don't want Emmanuel to go in.
Let me say this
I'd
then,
rather-
but couldn't Ed could have saved himself technically by just voting Emmanuel there, then Ed wouldn't even been down there, correct?
Correct. But he didn't want to pick Emmanuel. I guess there he didn't want to see it. He said,
Understood
I don't want to
there.
pick Emmanuel. So he said, Jay, making it a stalemate, not making it Jay. It was a burn vote. So Jay can shut the fuck up. He didn't do anything. And he was the last, at least.
It was a burn vote.
It was amazing. It was a burn vote, but it was a chaos vote. A
It was
burn vote to make it a
a
stalemate that smart Ed knew would happen, but also Ed was the last to vote. So Jay being mad at everyone else, it's like, no one could have seen that coming. Everyone would have assumed Ed would have saved himself.
It's funny because Ed stole my idea though, because Horacio kind of mentioned it before all of it happened. He said, I want it to be a stalemate because I'm already going down there no matter what.
Right.
And I said to myself, did Horacio still got a vote in that, correct? He got a vote at nominations, correct?
Yes.
So if someone had changed their vote and made it uneven the other way, if I'm Horacio, I would have changed my vote to the other way to keep it a stalemate no matter what. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, Horacio, that would be the best. But then obviously Ed switched up anyways. But I was thinking about the commercial. I'm like, Horacio, you need to switch up the vote if someone switches to make it even again to see what the hell happens. And boom. I mean, it all worked out for me either way. So,
well, it benefits Ed as well and Emmanuel because it opens up the entire game.
Right, and I think Ed realized that was probably what was going to happen by keeping it.
Guaranteed chaos. So it's none of
exactly. So that's why Ed threw it over to Jay, and that was great. He's like, no, we're going to keep it a stalemate because if I'm going
maybe
down,
that's what pissed off Jay more then, because Jay knew that he was probably going to be on the chopping block if it stayed even.
But those girls couldn't have seen that coming. That no one could have seen Ed the last vote not saving himself and keeping it, and to predict that they could have.
But they could have voted
so many steps of control too far.
So many steps. Yeah, you're right, Pam. Because so Jay is putting all the blame on Nerys and Olivia, and it's just like you also have other people in your alliance. Though.
Agreed. But the girls, if they really wanted to protect Jay, guaranteed they could have thrown away their vote to someone super random, and then that would have just made it the numbers off by 1. But instead, I believe they kept their votes the same way. The girls did, correct?
They kept their votes, but also people were voting after them. So people could have also again made.
Look, I don't agree with Jay, but there was a way for those girls in theory if they really wanted to.
Listen, they don't know how many square. These girls are not thinking that many. Only Ed. No, I don't think anyone can fault them. And Jay, this is the reason why I'm so mad at this. So right now I officially am team anti-Jay. That attitude that he had when he came in the room and was like, and they asked me what airport. So thanks a lot.
Like, I love it. That was my favorite. That was my
such
favorite.
A little bitch. He yelled at them. He came in the room and he was like, "Fuck you guys!" Basically, how did you do that? You are. I'm like, yeah, I'm mad.
That was my favorite part because it shows what a little bitch he is. Because producers asked you what airport you're taking just in case, because now there's a chance you go home. Shut the hell up, Jay. Like, dude, has he not been playing this game the last 3 seasons? How does he not understand how this works? He's such a little
He's never made
bitch.
it close enough. He's such a little bitch. And that is the attitude with anyone when I get in a fight. That like I can't, that makes me shut down and break. Like, oh, so now you think like there's like with my husband, sometimes I'm like that. I can't like that, like, oh, what love or that? Like, did that just like, there's some attitude that is, and I don't know what even to call it. It's sort of condescending, entitled, and bitchy, all wrapped into one gross attitude.
Also,
people
like,
get it, I really feel Like,
It feels
I
very like,
deserve
woe is
better.
me. Yeah,
Right.
like he's like, oh, and they asked me what airport I was
Right.
going to. It's like, okay, you're not the first person on the show that this has happened to. They probably asked every single person that went into the arena before you what
Yes.
airport they were going in, Jay.
Thing.
You're not special.
And I'm sure tonight they asked every guy where they would be going. That was
That's exactly that's what it
Right.
is, Pam.
So
They asked
thanks a lot.
everyone.
Right. It's a victim. It's being a victim and a woe is me, like into some entitlement package. It's like, I don't deserve this. You did this to me. It's like, fuck you for making me here. I don't deserve it. And like, all in one. And it's like my least favorite. I could take almost any other, like just this and throwing almost anything over like that attitude. Like, well, I hope you got
Well, that brings up this next question that I have for you ladies then. Is this the next generation of the challenge? We heard it mentioned tonight. Assaf and Corey both said that they're the next generation of the challenge. I would throw Jay in there too. And you know what? I'm not for it. I do not want this to be the next generation of the challenge. But is it? Is the question.
can stay. Horacio can stay. He is entitled to say, I'm part of the next generation of the challenge. These other people, you're not going to win. You're not going to be.
I mean, you got to put Kyland in there too. The dude's won 2 eliminations this season already.
Kyland's allowed to be considered the next generation too. But these other people, it's like, more 3 strikes you're out, guys. Like if you keep coming back and go nowhere, I think it's time for you to just get the boot.
I mean, I'm kind of having fun with it because think about it. We need this kind of stuff to happen. It gives us an interest in the show. Like Jay acting like a baby. It's entertaining in a way. Like you have to hate, you have to love to hate certain things too.
I definitely am loving to hate Jay this season.
Too.
Yeah, like of course that's why we've watched all those years with Bananas and CT and
you know what's crazy though, Jenna? Now that I love Bananas now. I loved them on that show. What was that show? I was the House of Villains. Did you watch House of Villains?
No, I did not.
It's so good, Jenna. I won't tell you how it ends.
I was busy having a baby. I'm sorry.
I almost had a baby. I watched it happen. But anyways, no. I was baby adjacent. But
yes, you are. You have a baby too.
Yeah. But I will say this though, Pamela, you told me to watch that Traitors show, and I'm fully caught up on it, and I'm not happy with what happened in episode 1 at all.
Guys,
do you remember?
Is it good?
It's so good. Cool. It's so good. Traitors on it's on Peacock, right? Pamela, what do you say? What is this for? What is this for?
I don't remember.
Suddenly doesn't remember.
How about this? Something happens to Bananas in episode 1. Pamela, did you watch the show or not?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I recommended it because I have no idea what you're talking
about. Traitors on Peacock. It has Bananas is on it, CT's on it, and Trichelle's on it.
I've seen it advertised, but I've never watched it. I didn't tell you to watch it.
Oh, I thought you watched it.
Yeah, no,
it's someone
else. I'm like, am I really that dozy that like I can't remember?
No, that's fine. Girls, if you have Peacock.
I have seen it like advertised and I'm interested in it.
I'm fully caught up in this. I'm fully caught up because they only release like 1 episode a week. And it's insane what happens in on all the episodes.
I'll watch it.
Girls, this is another great reality show. Like, because I complain about the challenge, blah, blah, blah. House of Villains, I did not complain about. And Traitors so far, one thing happened that really upset me, but I pushed myself to keep watching. And it's a really interesting reality show.
Don't tell, I'm going to watch it.
So there you go.
Don't tell, because also I like, my only complaint about House of Villains was that it was too short and I had to wait a week. It's like, this is something you should marathon and binge. I don't want to wait. Like,
it's that show is really freaking good. Oh, that's
fun.
So
and
good.
I wanted to watch them back to back because it was goofy and easy. And it's like, oh, it's over. And now I have to wait for like,
Well, it's funny because I was baby adjacent. I missed like 3 weeks in a row. So I actually did binge watch the end.
You're not baby adjacent, you're a father and you have a baby to take care of.
Trust me, Jenna, there's a huge difference between mommies and daddies, and it's insane what my wife and what you have to go through. The breastfeeding thing, she's pumping every 2 freaking hours. It's a pain in the ass, and I'm watching it happen. So yeah, I get it. Anyways, moving right along here. We didn't talk about club strategy. I named the club this season Club Strategy, Jenna, because all they do is talk strategy when they're supposed to be at the club getting drunk like they used to today. It's just Club Strategy. Thank you. So Club Strategy this week, Michelle and Horacio talked, and I thought it was a load of crap. Thank you, Pamela, for making that face, because it was a load of crap, and who cares?
It was such a load of crap that I literally like, what was she? It was such an intense load of crap that
it didn't matter what she was saying to him. Like,
it didn't matter.
It did not. Thank you, Jenna. It didn't matter. It was so dumb. Why did they waste airtime on the conversation? And then that was it. Nothing else was talked about in the entire club, but whatever.
I mean, it was, I guess, a little bit of an insight into everyone saying like Horacio doesn't talk game with anybody and he sticks to himself and is quiet. And I guess that this was like an example of it. Like, it's like pulling teeth to like talk to him about the game. But at this point, he was already voted in. Like, there's nothing that could change, nothing that could be done. It just looked like Michelle wanted to eat her cake and have her cake and eat it too.
Right.
Like, oh, I threw you in, but also like, I'm really sorry. And it's also your fault because you don't talk game. So it's just, all right, leave me alone.
I agree. Horacio, I'm like, Horacio, walk away from this woman. What is she even saying to you right now? Get out of this conversation, man.
Yeah.
What was she trying to say? And she's like, well, I can tell by your body language that this is going nowhere.
Yes. And I'm like, well, duh, Michelle.
What's going nowhere? The fluff
Yeah.
coming out of your mouth isn't going anywhere? Like, you can't.
Just more reason for me to dislike Michelle. Like, I don't even know what she was trying to do with that conversation.
I mean, listen, I get it. Like, you can give her the benefit of the doubt in some sense if she was like going over to maybe apologize or just like state her case a little bit further and be like, listen, I just want you to understand, like, this isn't personal. The reason I voted you in was because out of everybody in our alliance, like, you don't talk with me. We don't talk games. So like, obviously you're the first one on my mind, but that's not totally how it shook out. But I think that's what her intention was. But it just came, yeah. If I was Horacio, I'd be like, okay, the damage is done. Like, there's nothing for us to talk about.
Right.
It also, I really think that club, what's it called?
Club
Strategy is shown out of order because it never makes any sense to me because I'm like, Horacio is already the house vote. Like, why are you going? And they did it last week too, where someone's pulling Jay was pulling to get Horacio as the vote. He already was.
I don't.
Like,
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the producers, but they're also in very certain outfits. Like, they're always showing their outfits for like 5 more minutes of airtime, them getting ready, them going out in these outfits, and the outfits seem to match usually. Maybe I missed one, but yeah.
It could possibly be like, whatever. I don't care. We don't need to waste time.
Yeah, I understand.
Maybe they go out on a Thursday night of a Friday off and compete, blah, blah, blah. It could be the following week from whatever has just happened, but pre the competition that then we see the elimination for, because they always seem to be having fights that to me are irrelevant by the time we've seen the competition, the way things are shaking down. So
I just think it's like there's just not they really have nothing against each other. They're trying to fake these fights and make them interesting. When back in the day when CT said, I'm going to smash his head and eat it, I'm pretty sure he really wanted to smash his head and eat it. Like, literally, that was a real thing. And they even used that. Did you hear that quote in the background tonight? They have CT yelling, I'm going to smash his head and eat it. They brought that quote back. And instead, and we can get right into this here, instead of having CT smash someone's head and eat it, they have him roll around what Assaf called a dreidel and then solve a problem. Like, Jenna, I've been talking about this for weeks now. They bring on these great like competitors, like a Darrell, who like these like, I'm gonna beat someone up, and they make them do like a finesse, like endurance, little like, I'm gonna stand on a platform and balance. Like, why are producers so afraid to put them in like a pole wrestle or something? They're afraid of people getting hurt. It's what
there must be a reason, because every single one of these is someone against themselves. Like, none of these are against each other. They're like
just not. It's
every single one of them has been.
You've got CT on the show coming back for a one-time thing this season. Make him do. I don't get backpack 2.0. Make him do the backpack again. Do the exact same goddamn thing.
At least
how cool would that have been? I don't care.
2 things on that, and I love me CT. Kind of looked out of shape. I'm not trying to be
mean. He was out of shape, Jenna. You were
like, well, he's out of shape. So I don't know what kind of CT we would have gotten if you put him in
Jenna,
like a
they put it. It's funny too. They put the camera on him, Jenna, which made everything tight around his waist, and his belly is just popping out because of it. It's like
he would have tossed us off, though. I don't care.
I mean, he was huffing and puffing. He was huffing and puffing.
He would have destroyed Assaf. Assaf is actually really in shape, but I still think CT is going to outbeat that guy.
Just got burned straight. Yeah, no, CT would.
I was like, damn, CT, you're looking different.
Killed my. But we saw CT with Dad Bod, like, still winning everything in.
Well, he did lose to Jay with Dad Bod, so he didn't call Jay back down because.
Do you think?
It's Dad Bod CT again. I'm not going to pick Jay because Jay beat me when I was Dad Bod last time. The other comment is, do you think that they're making these eliminations like so ridiculously equal and so like mind gamey because they want the the new crop to win because they want it to be like fair enough. Because now imagine if it was like pole wrestle and it was Cara and Michelle, then obviously we know.
I have an answer. I got an answer. So they started with 24 people on this show, not even 30 like we're used to. And that's why I was all excited. Oh, only 24 people. Finally, 30 is way too much to keep in track of. There's still 16 people left. Are you telling me 16 guys? And we've been watching this season for 4 freaking months now. These seasons are way too long. So the fact that producers are doing it this way, I feel like is a mistake. They should be sending these every week in a regular challenge season. Someone goes home on a regular, most likely, right? Unless there's some type of redemption house. They're going home. This season, nobody's gone home. What the are we gonna see a final with 16 people in it? Like, I don't even understand what's going on here. We're on episode 15 next week. There's 20 episodes a season. So maybe they eliminate 6 more somehow, or they do double eliminations. I don't know, but they need to get rid of people. So to answer your question, Jenna, I think it's backfiring on them for wanting to show off this new crop if that's what they're doing. At the same time, though, I think they're afraid of people getting hurt in this new age of like, they're afraid, everyone's afraid of everything. Everyone's afraid of getting canceled. I think they're afraid of people going to get hurt. They can't do old challenges where they beat that living hell out of each other anymore.
Well, I mean, they don't have to be.
I have a throwback to what we were just.
Go ahead, Pam.
Pamela?
Oh, no, I just want to, this is just back to the new generation. I will say, sorry. I've been thinking about it. I am okay with the girls, though. The boys just seem too random to me and not like the girls, though, I feel like I'm okay with these girls being the new generation because they seem to actually have interdynamics. Okay, sorry. Throw it back to you, Jenna, in the studio.
No, I really like the chaos twist because I love that there is the chance of the champion veteran pulling that chaos and being able to pick who they want, which is kind of fun because they don't really know a lot of these people. So I like that they can be influenced by maybe people in the stands or by the 2 people who were called down to the arena. Like, I like that both CT and Cara were trying to give those people a break because they're continuously getting called down. So I thought that was kind of cool. They're like, okay, you're safe. Let's pull one of these people who hasn't seen the arena and is like sitting up there all pretty. Like, let's like make them get dirty. So I do really like that. I do sometimes, though, think that maybe it would have been cool to have that twist with just the house, because then you're missing like the inner house drama being able to be taken to the arena. Like, if 2 people are in a fight, like Assaf and Jay and like Kyland and Horacio, all this drama that was happening, if Horacio pulled chaos, he could have just called Jay's ass down, you know, and then they could have been going head to head. Like, it would be cool to kind of keep that drama like within the show, because the vets, they don't have any like.
No, even to add on to that, Jenna, not only that, if say Horacio is the house vote and that's all they have every episode, and he either has to pull out, 2 different people's names, or if he pulls the chaos, I think he should be able to choose 2 damn people up there that are guys to go against each other. That's where you really get the chaos. Cool. And then Horacio's safe. He doesn't have to go out again at it. So I mean, there's just so many ways that they could go about it. I don't think they're going to ever do this type of thing again with bringing in, because like I told Pamela this a couple weeks ago, CT, no affiliation with the house. He doesn't, I mean, when Laurel came back, she's like, no affiliation. Like, there's no drama there. And you're exactly right, Jenna. The drama needs to happen in an elimination, not just.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like we want that. We always want, as an audience, for the underdog we're rooting for, or whoever it is we're rooting for or against, we want that person to have an opportunity to like get vengeance against somebody, like you want like, oh, okay, like you were talking a big game. Well, guess what? Like, you're not as safe as you thought you were. Like, you can come down and compete against him,
Mm-hmm.
But we sort of get that via Jay's levels of control via one man removed. Jay not hugging Nari, like, talk about Jay's.
Oh my
I won't hug you. And you're not trying to fool anyone then if you're not just saying you're not like keeping it a secret that you're working together. Jay's crying. He won't hug Narice. Like,
wait, the way I spit out my water and like belly laughed when Jay did that, because it was so temper tantrum-y. Like, I understand, like, if Narice isn't your favorite person right now, but the way, oh my God, no, you get away from me. I just don't want to hug you.
How is it Narice's fault too? Like, she voted for.
He's grasping at straws, ladies. You know what? Jay should have actually wanted to go down there against CT. I actually think that Jay would have had a better chance of beating CT than Assaf. He would have struggled on the dreidel part, but at the same time, Jay's a smart guy when it comes to math, and I think he would have given CT a run for his money.
Oh, totally.
And I think that CT is actually kind of smart by not picking Jay because he's like, do I really want to lose to this kid twice?
Yeah.
Like, so honestly, that's where I'm at with all that.
Twice, and you
Yeah.
Pamela,
Agreed.
what's up with your internet?
Yeah.
Oh, is it
There was a
getting
little
out?
bit of a glitch, so we didn't know if you were talking or just agreeing or
Just agreeing.
Oh.
I agree. It would be one thing. My working. It would be one thing for that to happen once, but I wouldn't risk it twice either.
Right.
And
Is
Jay,
it just us though? Because I was looking at trying to find like the Instagram. You know what? I'm not on Twitter, so that probably hurts. I was trying to find some like tea or tweets or social media drama about the whole like Jay not hugging Nerys. Because I
oh
just
my
found
God,
it so
I bet it's there.
hysterical. I was like,
Oh.
other people have to think he was being so baby about this, right? Like, sour face. No, I don't want to hug you right now. It's just like, again, I get his point, but the way he acted about it was like to the 100th degree. Like it just was so overblown. But I couldn't find anything. The only thing
Like
that I did find was Nerys talking about how she feels bad for Horacio not being in the country, so he can't watch this season, and he's not seeing how dirty Olivia is doing him. But I don't really think she's necessarily doing anything wrong. She's just totally overthinking what their friendship is. Like I feel like he doesn't even care. He's like, everything's good between us, we're ride or dies. But Olivia's in the corner like, like she's just,
what is she doing him dirty? That was my question of the episode. Is like, what is Olivia doing wrong to anybody? Mariah was like, oh, I don't even know if I can trust her anymore because she was with Nerys, Horacio, Kyland team, sort of. But Mariah's with G. It's like, what is it? Why is Olivia the bad guy? I don't get it at all. And
no, people are not like self-aware at all. They're just like woe is me, all of them, all of them are only thinking about people against them when they're doing the same thing. Exactly your point. Like Mariah's with James. Now the whole American posse is just supposed to like respect that and not ever say Jay's name. Like, it's just.
Yeah, which also, Jenna, that's what I'm like, the American team, but Assaf and Colleen and Berna are the primary, and Emmanuel are like over Ed, Kyland, Corey, and like in that alliance. And the other reason Ed's my hero, I hate to keep saying it, but I agree with him all the time, is he's like, why is it just me and Emmanuel brought up? Like, why aren't Assaf and Corey being?
Yeah,
because he doesn't
like
know
Corey
that Jay
is all of a sudden
a boss.
Yes, yeah. Corey's all of a sudden so protective
like,
when he's definitely made some shady moves of his own this season.
That's what Ed was like. Why did it come down to like me and Emmanuel? Like what's that all about? And I agree with him. Just like Kylan said last week, he was like, it's not just me and you, Jay. Like there's 5 other guys here. Jay's just so obnoxious that he thinks anyone that I'm in an alliance with guy-wise, you can't say either, but he has not given that protection to the women in his alliance. So it's not, it's just dumb and lame.
What do you think, Dan? You're being quiet.
I'm ready for the season to move it along a little bit.
Let's keep it moving. Are we seeing more?
No, not you girls, just the season in general. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, if there's 20 episodes, ladies, and we're on episode 15 next week, what do you want to do in a final? 10 people at the most? Like, they don't even usually do 10. Don't they usually do like
8 most?
Okay, well, then they're going to be doing, then I guess prediction wise, let's get into that. What the hell? They're going to have to do double eliminations for the next couple episodes to get it down. There's no way they go 25 episodes. They always do 20 episodes at now. I can't, and it used to be 12. Remember, like it was like 10 or 12 episodes for an entire season. They pushed it to 20. I can't imagine it being more than that. So double eliminations, here we come.
My prediction is 3rd phase, no more champs coming in. So it'll just
it's over. It's over. Yeah. CT
was
the last one.
So that, and then the final thing will be there'll be a girl and a guy. So it'll be 3 more eliminations and then a double. So there'll be 16 people. Oh, I can't do the math on
I've
that.
been-
I think
trying to
it'll,
look up if there's an episode count, but I'm not seeing anything. Like, sometimes you'll say, oh,
Dan
Yeah.
said 20.
it got approved. It got greenlit for 40 episodes.
I always assume 20 episodes at this point, ladies. So we
Okay.
got 6 more to go.
I do
Well, we know
see
there's a
that
reunion.
the episode for next week, January 24th, is called Welcome to Conquest. So
It's the last one. Yeah,
I mean,
the
that's
last
an indication they're at the last phase of the game. I know what are they just gonna do like an all-out brawl and have like a crazy like quadruple elimination? Like, sometimes they just like
That
throw
would be,
a
but see, wouldn't that be, that'd be interesting. I'm into it.
The
I would
purge,
love it.
like the last
purge, a
two
complete
girls
purge.
and guys go
Yeah.
home. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
know, but I'm excited. I will say that I'm super liking this though, way better than like any of the preceding things that have
Yeah.
led
I
up
think
to
to
it.
me, my only complaint is just like if you're gonna have it be an hour and a half, mix in something else besides strategy talk for that middle point in the show where they go from after the challenge to strategy talk, then into the club with more strategy talk, then after the club strategy talk into nominations. That part right there, you can cut that down. We do not need to hear every goddamn person in the house and how they feel about who's going to go in. Like, just let's get to nominations. Let's figure it out there. I don't need to hear everyone talking about it in the house for an hour. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, the episodes are back to an hour and a half, right?
well, they
They always were.
they were used to be an hour. They used to be back in
Yeah.
the day. They were always an hour. They
No,
moved
but
to an
even
hour and a half.
recently, maybe it was Challenge USA was only an hour, and now this
They've
flagship
gone back up to an
MTV.
hour and a half.
MTV's
Yes.
hour and a half. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
They actually had a 2-hour episode this season, I believe, because they were trying to cram in 2
Oh.
episodes before a holiday or something. And I was like, a 2-hour episode. Holy hell.
Merry Christmas. Here's a 2-hour episode of the challenge, just what you asked for.
If they gave me 2 hours of House of Villains, though, I'd watch it. Jenna, just saying,
Oh
you should
my
check it out.
It's I mean, it's low stakes of like commitment, energy, attention.
Yes.
If you have like a baby that needs things every 5 minutes, you can put the season on, come back in and be like, Omarosa's still a bitch. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, that's what you can do.
She's still hanging around too, right?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pop
man.
back in, see old
All
crazy
right.
business. Yeah.
What else about this episode? Anything else?
I got nothing. I'm ready.
That's it. That's the episode.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm just trying to think. I want the house to be shaken up, but I'm trying to think about who do I really want to go down?
My message is,
Jenna, we should ask Jenna this, Pamela. Who is she rooting for at this point? Because you and I
okay,
kind of did that.
what girl, what
Who's,
guy?
I mean, like 2 guys and 2 girls that you want to see in the final. Go ahead, Jenna.
Okay.
Because we've kind of given ours over the last couple of weeks, actually.
And I have a shout out to CT. Well, Jenna thinks we'll give her a do. But I feel like CT felt bad at the end for beating Assaf, and I wanted to say, CT, don't worry about it. He's an asshole. We're so glad you beat him. I feel like Assaf looked defeated, and CT looked like, oh man, did I just take away some?
But Pamela, where will the producers turn next week for all their comedy bits? What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
All right,
I don't
Jenna,
know.
we've given you some
Okay.
time. Go ahead.
Okay.
Horacio. Duh. I feel like it's hard not to root for Kyland at this point. Why am I going to say like half the house? Because there's so many people I'm thinking of. Because I also do really like Emmanuel, even though he's on that shitty list of people who go on this show and cheat on their partners.
Yeah, I mean,
just break up with them.
But and not only that with
them.
Emmanuel, yeah, he hasn't done anything all season for me. Like he hasn't done shit.
You're right.
And that's on purpose. He even said in this episode, he's like, yeah, I'm purposely not saying anything. It's like, well, dude, like I get it's for a ton of money, but you're making for awful reality TV right now.
You know
and bro,
what? You're
I dressed
super
up like you for Halloween one year, so step it up, man.
No, wasn't that Kyle?
I did that too. I dressed up as Kyle. I dressed up as.
You love a tattooed man.
Yeah, it's easy to do with
Okay,
tattoos. Yeah.
you're right. You proved me wrong. I'll take your point. Cross out Emmanuel and change that to Ed, because Ed has had to work for what he's got in this game. You know, like his social game, maybe not as much, because a lot of those people just like who said it? Corey was actually right. Like, oh, everyone keeps saying that a social game. It's like, no, your social game is you entered a house and like you knew a bunch of people already, or like happened to just by circumstance be in this big American alliance, you know? So there's a lot of, but anyway, and then women, Colleen, because she's super underdog. Go Colleen.
She
Make
did
it to
awful in
the-
that
She
mini final,
sucked
though.
tonight.
That mini final was awful, though. She
She
ain't gonna do.
did bad.
She's not winning, Jenna. She can't even do a mini final. What are we doing here?
Nerys, because I feel like she's good, and she has her moments where sometimes I might not agree with like her social takes in the house, where I'm like, okay, maybe that was off base, but I still think like she's a pretty good competitor. So who else? Who am I missing? Like, who's the big one?
I mean, I say I pick Olivia because I want to see a redemption because she got nailed in the face.
Oh,
You know, like
sorry.
that's always fun.
Zara's like the
Yeah, Zaza. We like
Yeah.
Zaza. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Zara's like probably the most deserving, because she's like, she took it on the chin when she had to get down to the arena that one time. She's super athletic, trains really hard. So Zaza, yeah.
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 She's on my list for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
But then, we say all these, only one person's winning, guy or girl. Like, I can't believe they're even doing. Why there should be a guy and a girl winner. I'm sorry, but there should be
Yeah,
both. I don't
maybe.
like the fact there's only gonna be one. I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed to be a guy, but I think it's gonna sway towards 90% to 10%. I think it's gonna be a dude. I just do. I don't see one of these
Oh,
girls.
yeah.
Don't. I would like it to be a guy.
Well, that's
it
what
should
I
be
think.
both.
Like Zaza and Nerys have the endurance, so that's why I said them, because I think they probably can last in a final.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't. I just think that if you take the top guy and the top girl, I think the top guy still finishes before the top girl does. I just do. That's just me.
I mean, there's more strength there. Like the guys on this season are like so meaty, right? Like they have like muscles.
Like, I'm sorry, but Horacio's, I mean, he might not be the smartest dude because we saw him struggle tonight with that, but his endurance is insane. He's a professional soccer player. They have like the best endurance out of anybody. Like, that's what they do
No,
naturally.
you're right though. There's going to be a lot of math and puzzles in that final. There just is.
Yeah. So I think that's going to hurt Horacio. You got to
Kyland
think like,
could win. Kyland's like a really good candidate for
I think
winning.
Kyland's a great candidate. I don't know how his endurance is probably pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the top guys, but I think he's a really smart dude.
So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
need
come
a
down to
little bit of
grit. Who's
brains
got that
there.
grit? Yeah. Who's got it? But anyway.
Phew, I don't know, but I would like to see James take it all home. That's what I want.
He's got no endurance. He's done. That dude's bought. His legs are
Absolutely
gonna give out on him. He's
not.
done.
Great if he won though, like yeah, I guess.
No, talk about a person who hasn't done anything the entire game.
He won an elimination early on against somebody, didn't he? He won
Yeah.
an elimination or something early on
Huey,
against
against
Very
Huey.
early on.
very
yeah,
early on.
And you got to root for Kyland too, because at this point, like we said, like he's somebody who's actually working for his stake in the game. He has
Yep.
to do
Yeah.
things. He has to be like, he has to win. He has to be smart, strategically, socially. So yeah, I hope that he makes
That's the other reason I like him. He's actually trying to take out the supposed like big alliance in the house. Like I love that type of stuff. That's an intriguing storyline for me to take hold of. So yeah.
And more
Absolutely.
gracefully than he even needs to be, like he's doing it like very well tempered. Well, it's like
And smart.
he's
And
not,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
No, Kyland rose up in my esteem this episode a lot. Well, Jay and Michelle.
Melissa was holding him back. Thank God she's gone, right?
Oh,
She was.
I enjoy Melissa. I do.
So
I
did
love
Pamela.
Melissa.
Both you girls love Melissa.
Well, I loved Melissa and Big T because they were just like, everyone was gunning after them. So I was like, come on, girls, just I hope you win.
They were fun. And I
But
like
she was,
these
like,
new girls.
In the tank against Tori. She was not.
Yeah.
That shit looked hard though.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that wraps up episode 14. My God. That's almost 2 seasons of an old school challenge, by the way. But all right. Okay, we'll see y'all next week, episode 15. I'm excited. We're into not chaos. What's the next one? Conquer. We're on to Conquer. So now
All right.
Conquest. Sorry. Yes, we're into Conquest for next episode. We'll see you all next week for that. We look forward to it. I've been like just signing out now because they changed this thing on you. That's why I keep hanging up on you every week, Pamela, instead of like talking after. So I haven't figured out they switched it up on Zoom here, so I don't know how it works. But
So once
I
you
thought
end
you guys
recording, we all
I
just
can't. The end recording button changed, so I don't even know. I think it just do it right here. Oh, I figured it out.
All right.
Okay.
Well, love you, mean guys.
All right,
And-
love you guys. It
Yeah,
was
that's
very nice talking and being back. And yes, thanks everybody for like the congratulations and well wishes for the babe and the family.
Yeah, put in some more well wishes into the chat for Jenna too, because she's back now.
Everything.
They're all gonna praise you. Queen Jenna's back. Queen Jenna's back. They're all
Can they
excited.
put photos in the chat? Because I want everyone to make their best Jay won't take the hug face. Like,
Can you put in photos?
It
I'm
wasn't-
not tech savvy enough to know how to do this.
Damn, I feel like it was worse than that. It was like Like,
He
It
was
really
so
reminded
mad.
me of the 8-year-old, like,
finger point, like, no, I don't want to hug you.
it was a genuine 5-year-old's response. Like,
5 years
no,
old.
you took my toy. Like, that's how it felt.
My whole
So
thing with that
good.
was, Jay, they got rid of a person that you're going to have to go up against in a final. So you're like one step closer to having an opportunity here, and yet no one's still picking you to win this thing. So whatever, but whatever. Okay. Okay.
He's delusional at this point.
I hope he goes more off the rails next week so I can just hate on it. So
I wish he makes it to a final and just fucking lose it. Like,
well,
can't
that
keep
too.
up.
That either one. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh, you fought so hard, you controlled everybody so well. But this was a nice, all right, we can go, but poetic justice for Assaf being like, I should get an Emmy. That was my other most unfavorite.
Oh,
for my control. I'm like playing everybody. It's like,
because I think
They
it's
have-
innocent. So I just have a different perception of it. I think like this guy, like he's just so innocently like not, when they said they
he's
made the
really-
biggest move, like the biggest move of all time, they should win an Emmy. It's like, no, you didn't.
No, he didn't.
No,
Girls,
he
he
didn't.
didn't know what a
It's
prime. He didn't know what a prime number was. So even if he got to the finals, if they put like 2 + 2 in front of him, the dude was going to struggle with it. He didn't know.
And
How do
they
you know
have
what a
math in
prime number
Israel.
is?
Like, math
Okay,
is the
well-
universal language. It's not like there's a language barrier.
I was wondering that, Pam. It sounds so stupid. I was like, is he this has nothing to do with like him.
No, they have math.
He just doesn't know math. Like, how do you know a prime number? It's not that hard, man.
I also
Like,
don't know math. I know what a prime number is.
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
that's basic math. I know. I agree. So, all right, Assaf, you wouldn't have made we saved yourself the trouble from losing pathetically in the final. So there you go.
Dang.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
Love you
guys.
all.
Bye, everybody. See ya.